What's going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition here of Dangle, a bet. Celly, Chris Meaney riding solo again. EY is traveling, unfortunately, today. Don't worry, we'll have some goal scorers here for you guys. EY will join us next week. 11 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. A lot of action. Gonna roll through all of them, maybe just like a DFS and a fantasy hockey take for a couple of these games. You're just gonna kind of narrow it down to our top few picks here today and try to walk away with some cash. I know we walk through every single game. We have like 100 picks on this show, but want to really just narrow it down to a good 5 to 10 really, really strong plays. And we'll look for some value throughout the show here and try to seek some dogs and some money line plays as well. If you are hanging out live, smash the like button. You have any comments, any questions, you can leave them there in the comment section on our YouTube page. If you are listening on iTunes and Spotify, we would love it if you could rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. And again, if you do have any questions at any moment, fantasy hockey questions, we'll have the fantasy hockey article live this weekend over at ftnfantasy.com. Already week 6 in the fantasy hockey season. So we'll dive into some 4-game streams. We will take a look at players to buy low, sell high. And I think we should do that on this show as well next week. We'll have a good sample size. We're really creeping closer to American Thanksgiving. That's a pretty big point, I think, in real life NHL where these teams are at the moment. Pretenders, contenders. There's a lot of struggling teams that still have short odds to win the Stanley Cup. Are they legit? We'll talk about that stuff probably next week. But if you got any questions, like I said, you can hop on over to our YouTube page. We'll have a free betting article over at ftnbets.com as well. I usually give 3 plays and then a bunch of bonus plays. At the end of the day, it's like 10 to 13, 14 plays. There's some long shot goal scorers and some same game parlays and things like that. You can check out over at ftnbets.com. Free article there today. And you can reach out at Chris Meaney on X, on Twitter, meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. We will have a Mean Streets episode a little bit later on today on our YouTube page, diving into what is an ugly Thursday night football game between the Panthers and the Bears. We'll have some props, of course, some start and sit, and we'll take some of your questions. And we will have some more picks and props in the NFL tomorrow. So if you're subscribed to our FTN Network YouTube page, you get notified right away. And the guys are killing it. Randall's got the college basketball show. Walter Riddell's got some college basketball content for you as well. Hoops with Noops. Is it Hoops with Noops? Noops with Hoops. I should know that. It's Hoops. It's Hoops with Noops. Had it right the first time. He's got some basketball content for you as well. So I want to say what up to the crew. And before we get going here, we are going to start with the Edmonton Oilers. As I see Evan in the house, 8-0 world where the Oilers are -350 favorites against any team in the NHL. So the Sharks finally won a game. They didn't deserve the game, to be honest with you. I didn't think that they played all that well. What we talked about is that, the Sharks are going to win some hockey games this year. They may not deserve to win a lot of games. They're still badly outplayed at 5-5. I thought the Flyers really took it to them. They got into some penalty trouble, which kind of mixed up the flow. But some of the things that we talked about, if you don't get the team, you don't get some of the points, you get the shots. And our free bet of the day on Tuesday was Cam Atkinson shots. Travis Konechny hit the shots. We just didn't get the production. And this comment here, and I get it, when you look at the Oilers overall and you just take a look at, say, the standings and you see what's happening in Edmonton the last time that they played a hockey game. Connor McDavid looked very frustrated. He took a trip to the penalty box. Leon Draisaitl had a 10. The coach got a bench monitor and was, kicked out of the hockey game. But they're still playing a really good brand of 5-5 hockey. And the odds have changed here significantly since this is where we're going to start, obviously, here. If the Oilers lose this game tonight, it's all over for Woodcroft, right? I mean, he would have to be fired. He would have to be fired. I jumped on the Fantasy Frenzy yesterday, a station in Edmonton. I think it's 1400 on AM. And we talked about the Edmonton Oilers and the struggles in goal. The Edmonton Oilers are actually playing a pretty good brand of 5-5 hockey. According to Natural Stat Trick, at 5-5 per 60, they're 5th in shot attempts, they're 3rd in shots, they're 3rd in scoring chances, they're 1st in high danger chances. They are 1st in the NHL in expected goals at 5-5, 3.45. Number 1 in the NHL. yet they're 24th in goals at 5-5 per 60. Again, from Natural Stat Trick. They have 2.1 goals at 5-5 per 60, yet the expected goal rate is 3.5. They're 29th in 5-5 shooting percentage. 29th, 6%. On the flip side, they're not giving up a lot of chances, right? We just talked about the quality chances that they are generating at 5-5. They've allowed the fourth fewest high danger chances, the ninth fewest scoring chances, the third fewest shot attempts overall. Only the Hurricanes and the Jets have allowed fewer shot attempts at 5-5 per 60. Yet, why can't this team get any wins? Oh, because they don't have any goaltending. They just don't have any goaltending at the moment. Only the Calgary Flames have a lower 5-5 save percentage than the Edmonton Oilers, operating at 88%. Sending down Jack Campbell and calling up Calvin Pickard because he's got a good save percentage through 2 games is 4 games, in the AHL is not going to be the answer. The guy's a career backup. He's like a 902 save percentage for his career. He's had some moments in the AHL. Not really any significant moments in the NHL. Had a couple decent games at the Avs a few years ago. But this guy's not going to be the answer. Stuart Skinner is going to be the starter. I would imagine, I haven't even looked, I would assume he's going to be the starter tonight, and he's going to get a bulk of the starts moving forward. If he does continue to slide, then we see Pickard maybe can provide a spark. I like the Oilers tonight. I think that they're going to win the game handedly. I would say at least 5-2. I think that they are going to put up a lot of rubber towards the goal, and it is basically impossible to get behind this number that Evan said, and I totally agree. We're not gonna take any team in the NHL at minus 350 ever on this show. We're just not gonna do it. But last night in the bet tracker, I did drink a bit of juice. I put 2 units on minus 130 over at Caesars to win by 2 goals here tonight. I'm seeing a little bit of change, of course, from last night. Minus 140 now, the Oilers over at Bet365, minus 148, minus 146. This is all puck line stuff. But MGM plus 110 to win by 3. I think they win by 3 or 4 goals. And again, the Sharks can go ahead. Like, great. They won that game. They ended, they were, if they lost, they would have set an NHL record for 12 consecutive losses to start the season. But this watching that game, they still gave up a ton, right? They still gave up a ton of chances. And when you mix in the game from the Oilers and how they're playing at 5-5, and the fact that the Sharks are really not generating a whole lot. Even halfway through that game, they had about 10 shots and they had a ton of power plays at a 5-on-3. So I like the Oilers tonight. I'm going to have some fun with them. A couple sprinkles to win by 3, 4, 5 goals here today. Our favorite bet last week or on Tuesday was Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots. The bet today for me is Leon Draisaitl over 1.5 points at plus 100. So again, I don't sound like a broken record here, but the matchup is right. Sharks are going to win some games here and there. I'm going to continue to bet against them. I'm going to continue to take some props against them, and I think it's going to work out more times than not. And if it doesn't, we didn't get the Flyers to win, but we got some props, shot props who didn't get the points. We can make up for it here today. So I have a couple picks already in the tracker. I mean, I have the Oilers in 60 with the Bolts in 60 at plus 136. As I mentioned, the Oilers on the puck line, 2 units over at Caesars, minus 130. Still don't mind the minus 140, minus 145. Maybe a half a unit on them to win by 3, maybe 0.25 for them to win by 4. I do like this. Evan found this here today. McDavid goal. The Oilers win plus 150 boost on FanDuel. That's how he's going to attack the game. I'm going to take Draisaitl over 1.5 points at plus 100. I'm going to take Evander Kane over 3.5 shots at plus 130. It's not about the revenge. That'll be, he's not going to, I don't think I think he's already played in San Jose since the trade. So he's not going to get no video tribute or anything like that. But I like these odds for him to get 4 shots. Like, the attempts are going to be there with the Oilers. They may only score 2 goals tonight, and that would be heartbreaking. But these guys got to put 75 plus attempts on the net, and the desperation factor mixed in as well. This is not like Edmonton riding a 7-game winning streak and just lottie-dottie into San Jose tonight to face basically an AHL squad. Evan Bouchard assists is plus 105 over at BetMGM. Connor McDavid to have 4 shots tonight. I think we're going to see an aggressive Connor McDavid. The other guys are just a little bit too juiced. I will do a same game parlay with a lot of these shooters. I will have Draisaitl on. As of right now, I see Draisaitl 2.5, but it's just too juiced to take as a single. But I will be including McDavid, Kane, Draisaitl, who's just moved to on DraftKings plus 123.5, and I'll be including Hyman. I'll be including all of those guys. I know not everybody can use Bet365. We're going to say what up to the rest of the crew here and move on from this game. Just wanted to address it right off the hop. EY would be calling all the goal scorers here. I think McDavid scores. I think Draisaitl scores. I think Hyman scores. I think the Oilers put up 5 goals. And there's not a lot of great odds here for some of these Oilers players, but the point props, I think you can do pretty easily here. You could go, we'll go McDavid 2 points. We'll go Draisaitl 2 points. We'll put Bouchard in there. We'll put Hyman in there. And just that alone is plus 375. So instead of, drinking all that juice at minus 350 or whatever the heck it is now, just having over at Bet365 a 2-point night for Draisaitl and McDavid, Bouchard mixed in there, still getting a ton of time on the power play. They're going to get a couple power plays here tonight. They're going to score a couple power play goals. Hyman for the point, and then I would just leave it at that. That's plus 375. Of course, you can get as greedy as you want. You could put McDavid, you could put Kane on there. All of a sudden, that's plus 575. I'd stay away from the 2 points from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I just don't want to dive into the 2 points, but I would lean to him getting 2 points, maybe the assist. Then you can really just leave that alone at plus 575. You can attack the shots. Bouchard, Draisaitl, Hyman, Kane, McDavid. Oh my goodness. That's 90-1. That is a ridiculous ticket that I will be laying some pizza money on. That is basically the entire top 6 minus Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to pick up a point. And then the entire top 6 minus Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to shoot the puck. If you don't like Kane, you could move away from Kane, and that's still 45-1. You could just do the shots. If you're feeling like the puck luck's not going to turn around for the Oilers, right? The third lowest shooting percentage at 5-5 here through 5 weeks of the season. You could go McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Kane, Bouchard. That's 22-1. So I'm going to have some fun with this game here tonight with a couple different, same game parlays. But I think the big takeaways for me is Oilers puck line, Leon Draisaitl 2 points. I like McDavid to have 4 shots. I think we're going to see a really aggressive McDavid today. Kane to have 4 shots. Bouchard with the assists. Bouchard with the assists, probably one of my favorite plays. I just think he hits the score sheet. The point alone is a little bit juice. It's minus 150. I mean, if you want to drink that juice, but the point probably comes via the assist. So I'm in on all of those guys to get going here today. So we'll move on from that game, and we'll get back to just saying what up to the crew here like we normally do on Dangle, Bet, Celly. We appreciate the support all the time. Last week when Columbus versus the Dallas Stars here from Troy got outplayed in one pair of goals. Columbus team is competitive every single night, how they played. Yeah, they're competitive for sure. I like the Stars. I put the Stars in last night in 60. I just think they're a much better team than the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're more sound defensively, and I would agree that it's tough to lay minus 220 on any team in the NHL on the road, but I don't know. As long as it's Jake Ottinger between the pipes, I think that they win the hockey game. The Blue Jackets are among the worst teams in the NHL. They could be competitive, and I don't know what the heck's going on with Kent Johnson. They probably need to trade him, but only the Islanders have allowed more shot attempts than the Blue Jackets at 5-5 this season. They're inside the top 6 in shots overall allowed. And the Sharks, by the way, are like number 1 and number 2 in all of these categories. Goals allowed at 5-5 per 60. The Blue Jackets are inside the top 10, so they're getting some saves, but they're inside the top 5 in expected goals allowed. Scoring chances, they're inside the top 10 as well. The Sharks, of course, number 1. And then the high danger chances allowed at 5-5 per 60, of course, again, in the top 10. So the matchup is really good. Dallas is a much better team at home. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Stars, but I do have them in 60. I think we put it in the tracker at minus 120 at DraftKings. I think that's a pretty good price. It's actually one of my favorite plays. This Stars team, I'm just a sucker for. This is the team that I have going to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. So I'm in on Dallas, and I'm in on Rupe Hintz for over 2.5 shots at minus 135. I don't have a ton in the bet tracker at the moment, Of course, I will get a few more and we'll have some plays throughout this show, but Hintz is a guy that I went to early this morning at over 2.5 at minus 135 at DraftKings. I think that's the best number that I see, and you can use our prop shop to get the best possible number because Bet Rivers is offering minus 150. I don't even mind the assists like for Rupe Hintz at plus 120. That line just seems to score every single night. Robertson and Pavelski and Hintz. So I would just jump in on that one. Hammerhead Union, what's going on? Welcome in. Good morning. We got the comment here from Evan as well. Canucks money line minus 125. Hungry group, who's playing excellent hockey in Ottawa coming into the second half of a back-to-back. Vandal has Hughes and Petrie. Petrie? For 3 shots boosted. Oh, Pedersen. My bad, obviously. Boosted at plus 175. I agree. Canucks are playing pretty good hockey. They actually are in some of I think that they're playing above their weight just a little bit. I know Rick Tocchet had them playing last year. Rick Tocchet has them playing this year, and they're certainly getting some goaltending from Thatcher Demko and Quinn Hughes and Pedersen. They're lighting the world on fire. I think some guys like Brock Besser will regress here a little bit. But they are, when I look at some of the numbers at 5-5, the natural stat trick, the Canucks are in some of the areas where I tend to pick on teams just a little bit inside the top 12 in scoring chances allowed, high danger chances allowed. They are in the top half as well. Actually, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're inside the top 7. This game should be fine. I would expect some goals. I know the total is 7. I think we have a board for this one. The total is 7. There's some 6.5s in some spots. I think we're going to see a ton of offense, and I would even lean to the over 7. It's a lot like I think last night between the Oilers or between the Sens and the Maple Leafs. Again, the Leafs can't keep the puck out of the net, and really the Sens can't either. I mean, the Sens are third in high danger chances allowed at 5-5 per 60, and then just mentioned that the Canucks are 7th in high danger chances allowed at 5-5 per 60. The Sens top 4 in scoring chances. The Canucks top 10 in scoring chances allowed. So yes, they're playing good hockey. They're getting some contributions across the board. They're capitalizing on some power plays. Quinn Hughes is on another level right now, and they're getting some goaltending, but ultimately they're giving up a lot of quality chances as well. So I think both of these teams are going to score some goals tonight. I have a little bit of juice. We've been riding this one, right? Adam Szymanski and the crew. Quinn Hughes at over 2.5 shots. This is going to go away here pretty soon. This may be the last time we get it, especially if he has like 3 or 4 shots again halfway through the contest tonight, but minus 145 at DraftKings. And then for him to get an assist at minus 125 as well. Last night I was on the wrong Sens line in DFS. I had Drake Batherson, Josh North, and Brady Tkachuk on my squad, and it was Tim Stusla who lit it up with Claude Giroux and Joseph. But if I think we could call some goal scorers here, and even without looking at any odds, I want to dive into the odds all the time here on this show. Of course, it's important, these odds, but we want to get some winners right. And I think what we see tonight is an Elias Pettersson goal. His shot props at 2.5. Sometimes he shoots so much, and other times he just passes it off. So a little hesitant to drink that kind of juice on the shot prop for him, but I do think he scores a goal. I also think Brock Besser scores a goal, which would be assisted most likely by JT Miller, who I like for an apple. We definitely like Quinn Hughes for the assist and for the 2.5 shots. And I would say Kuzmenko probably finds the score sheet as well. Let me see some odds. He's probably got the best odds for a point. Everybody else will be a little bit juiced. He's on that first power play. Yeah, he's minus 135 for a point. Thinks pretty good. And he's linked to Elias Pettersson, who, Vegas is telling me that Elias Pettersson has a good opportunity to have 2 points tonight because, he's actually at minus 250 for 2. He's usually at right around plus 110 for 2 points. But Elias Pettersson for an assist at minus 105 may be even better than Quinn Hughes. But both of these guys this is another one where we can have some fun with a same game parlay with a goal total of 7. I think we see a lot of action. So minus 105 for Elias Pettersson. So we got a lot here on just the Canucks side alone. I think they win the game. The over is juiced. Let's see if we can get something that we like. You can do some sort of same game parlay with over 6.5, and you can drink a little bit of that juice if you include some other things. Oh, it's not too bad. Minus 120. So it's come down a little bit. Oh no, where did I see that? Minus 135 is the best price over at Caesars, 6.5. And with just with the back-to-back and the fact that the Sens aren't really getting the goaltending, Korpisalo had some nice saves last night. He's got the Leafs number, but then they'll go, they'll go to the backup tonight. So let's recap here and move on from this game. We got. I'll go in order of what I like. Quinn Hughes for over 2.5 shots. Quinn Hughes for the assist. Elias Pettersson for the assist. Kuzmenko point. And then I'll shy away from the other shot props here. I tend to go to Brock Besser. He's been hitting more than not, but it's not like it's not. I don't think it's like a plus matchup. It's okay. Okay. Patterson scores. Brock Besser scores. JT Miller on the Ottawa side. I am a sucker for Josh Norris. I know he let us down, but I still like the opportunity that Josh Norris. I mean, he started with third line center, second line center, then first line center, first power play. He's plus 120 for 3 shots. I know he let us down, and people may not want to go back to him. I think maybe for the point, I think this is okay. Minus 125 for him to pick up a point. But I really did like what I saw from Stützle and Claude Giroux last night. It's just I don't think that there's a lot of consistency for these guys for the shot. So maybe a Stützle assist. Actually, what I want to do is the Stützle goal. Again, don't want to look at the odds. This is what I think is going to happen. Stützle score and Giroux with the assist. All right, so we're going to move on from that game. There's a lot of intriguing pieces in there as well. I want to go back to the chat and say what up to some people here. Richard in the house. What's going on, everybody? Troy, welcome in. Adam Szymanski, I'll be eating ramen for the next month if the Oilers put up a dud tonight. Jokes. EY is not back. But we are going to have some goal scorers. We're going to have some goal scorers. Tampa goaltending, no problem. They're holding down the fort. Yeah, I think they're scoring a lot of goals, which is helping them. The goaltending's still pretty shady. I know Johansson's had a couple shutouts here and there, but definitely giving up a lot of quality chances. They are not a great 5-5 team at the moment. Good morning, Daily Handle with Jordan Allen. Welcome in. The Islanders are starting to slip as expected. Yes, Bo Horvat out of the lineup as well. Okay. Bouchard minus 145 for a point at BetMGM. That's not, obviously it's a little bit better than the minus 150. We can get in on that. I think that the odds, like plus money for the assist, he may score a goal on the power play, right? He gets a lot of attempts on the power play. It sounds like Edmonton is in our pizza parlay of the day. Definitely going to have a fun couple same game parlays for the Oilers. We already talked about it with the points, maybe the shots, and then that 90-1. I'm all over that one, or 45-1. And then I'm going to do one with the Bolts, and then I'll probably do a combined one here with Ottawa and Vancouver, just kind of looking for some offense here tonight. Okay. All right, a lot of plays. So you guys keep giving some plays, and we'll keep. I say this every week, but Columbus are winning tonight. You tend to say that every week, yeah. I lean with Dallas there, dude. I lean with Dallas, but good luck to your Blue Jackets this evening. We can go to Tampa here for a second. I don't have a ton to say on the Chicago side of things. We've been fading Connor Bedard. He's been in some tough matchups. It just doesn't have the support around him. We did have a fun same game parlay, I think, last Sunday with Bedard and Taylor Hall to have a point. That one was like plus 170s, but I don't think it's really needed here tonight. I like, Kucherov is now unbettable. We had him the other night against the Habs, was a plus 135 to have 2 points, but now he's minus 145 for a 2-point night. He's plus 150 for 2 assists. So we have to stop betting Kucherov until the matchups get a little bit tighter there. Nick Paul's been really good. He's on that first power play, and I think he's a sneaky little goal scorer tonight. He's not getting a lot of ownership in season-long leagues too. I think he can help people out. I mean, the fact that he is on that first power play is really beneficial. It's a power play that's operating at over 33%. I think they played the Habs at 33%. They had a couple goals there. He is minus 120 for a point. I mean, this is the Blackhawks after all, right? Like Tampa's got one of the highest team applied totals. They're huge favorites here tonight. So Nick Paul for a point at minus 120 over at DraftKings, BetMGM as well. If you're looking for some sort of plus money play, plus 275 for him to pick up a power play point tonight. I like the Apple as well, but I will just lead with just going to be a point for me in the tracker. I'll stay away from the shots. Hagel, the fact that Kucherov is minus 175 for 2 points. Like, how could you not think that Hagel's going to fall into a point as well? These guys scored Hagel point, and Kucherov picked up a goal in the first 26 seconds against the Habs on Tuesday. It's a little bit juice, but we're looking for winners here on a Thursday because the football game is atrocious and you shouldn't be putting your hard-earned bucks on Carolina or Chicago, but we will probably anyways. Minus 150 for the point for Brennan Hagel over at DraftKings tonight. Stamkos probably scores, right? He's the shooter on the power play. Always looking to get it over to him. They got, point in the bumper in the slot. Steven Stamkos. Not awful odds for shots tonight. Minus 145 for Stamkos for 3. But I would say, plus 160 for the 2 points ain't bad either. But I would say he scores a goal tonight, but the best you're getting is plus 130 there. I think Tampa Bay wins in reg, and the puck line, it's actually pretty good. All the attention on the Oilers and everything. You're going to get plus money for Tampa to win by 2 goals tonight. Plus 102 over at DraftKings. Okay, what else do we got here? Let's go to Detroit. We got the Habs and the Red Wings on the slate. As we said on Tuesday, it's all crashing down in Montreal. They just continue to take a bunch of penalties, and they continue to give up some high-quality chances. Montembeault and Jake Allen are both inside the top 10 in 5-5 save percentage. They both have I think Allen's got a 942 save percentage of 5-5, and Montembeault's even better than that. So just imagine where they would be without the goaltending to start the season. Not breaking any news here today, but I think that DeBrincat and Dylan Larkin get in on the fun, in on the action. I'll go back to Bet365 here and do a same game parlay. They changed Larkin this morning from 1 to 1.5. Anyways, I think DeBrincat scores the goal. DeBrincat over 3.5 shots. I like it's the power play. 3.5 shots at plus money is good. We like that, but it's just the fact that the Habs live in the penalty box, and I know that he's the shooter on that power play. So you're going to get a couple opportunities here for Detroit on the man advantage. I like the Red Wings to win the game in 60. You get better odds than backing them here on the money line. They are minus 120. Detroit in 60. It's pretty good odds there. Larkin's probably going to dish an assist on that play as well. I always try to do some power play props. It doesn't work out all the time against the Canadians, but minus 130 for an assist for Larkin is pretty good odds as well. I think DeBrincat does score. Plus 170 for 2 points is a little bit much. Not getting any value on the power play point for Larkin or for DeBrincat. Maybe we can do Moritz Seider or Gostisbehere. Still nothing really fantastic there. Seider's plus 300. That's okay. That's not bad. 3-1. The Detroit's going to get probably 4 power plays tonight. Gostisbehere's plus 290 as well for a power play point. On the other side for the Habs, there's only a couple guys that are really shooting the puck. Cole Caulfield is one of those guys. 3.5 shots for Cole. If there's a goal scorer here for Montreal, it's Cole Caulfield or it's Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan's just been, he is a top 30 fantasy hockey player in leagues with faceoff wins and special team points. He's just getting it done. He's playing pretty good. I like to see him in Montreal. Thought last year if he stayed healthy, he'd be a deadline somebody that you can trade at the deadline and get some pieces. I think that's possible again. He would help out a lot of teams in a playoff run as their third line center. He's on Montreal's first power play. He contributes on the power play. He also contributes on the penalty kill as well. He clearly wants to stay in Montreal, and maybe he didn't have any bites through free agency, but he stayed in Montreal, and it's possible he wants to stay there for a little bit. It is a nice place to play hockey, right? It's the history is there for sure. But if he wants to win some Stanley Cups, play some playoff hockey, he may want to move. But Monahan for a point tonight is minus 115. And if you think I'm nuts, take a look at the back of the hockey card for Sean Monahan. He's got 11 points, 6 goals in 12 games. He enters tonight on a 6-game point streak where he's got 4 goals over that span, 3 points on the power play. In fact, he's had a point in every single game but 3 this season. Didn't score on the opening night against Toronto, didn't score in game number 3 against Meaney or game number 6 against the Devils, but he is getting some ice time. That line with Tanner Pearson and Brendan Gallagher look pretty good. But anyways, I think that Detroit wins the game in 60. I like the Brinkat to score. I like the Brinkat shots. I like Larkin to pick up an assist. And on the other side, I like Cole Caulfield shots. And I like Sean Monahan to pick up a point. Jazz in the house. Upsets yesterday. How about today? Yeah, maybe we can find some. I actually don't view the Kings as an upset, but technically it was. LA, when they're not in action tonight, but I wrote them up as a contrarian play, the top line, Kopitar, Kempe, in our DFS package. They are now a perfect 7-0 on the road. And I think, if memory serves me correct, they were 29. They had outscored their opponents 29-11. And then last night, 3-1, 4-1. So they've been playing some really good hockey, but definitely like the Leafs laying an egg at home. The Leafs are just overrated, right? We're not going to get into too much here on the Leafs, but they're just an overrated squad. They just can't keep the puck out of their net. They can score with the best of them, but they have some issues. They have some issues, most certainly. We did see the Florida Panthers take care of Washington in overtime, but certainly that was a big upset there last night. Minnesota, New York, the Rangers and the Minnesota Wild here tonight. The Rangers, man, are playing some good hockey. I got to take a look at the power play percentage. It's been really, really good this season. Best power play. What do we got here? I'll find it in a second. But one guy that does stand out to me, and he's been a hot waiver wire pickup, of course, when the Adam Fox left, is Eric Gustafsson. Anybody seeing any point props on Eric Gustafsson? I'm not seeing anything besides a power play point for him, which is fine at plus 265, which is okay. But I would like to see a point, and I thought maybe we would get one over at DraftKings or Bet365, maybe later on in the day. Yeah, just not seeing anything at the moment. But he's been pretty good, right? Filling in for Adam Fox. No, still nothing over at 365. So all good. We'll keep an eye on it here a little bit later on today, and maybe it'll pop up because it is something that I'm going to be interested in. This Rangers power play is 34%, 34% on the season, and I just don't think you can ignore that. Where are the Wild at penalties taken? You think I'd be more prepared? I'm missing my guy EY here, so bear with me. I'm doing some stuff on the fly. Sometimes good. Sometimes not, right? George just jumps in. He's like, yeah, most times not, man. Bats. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have the wrong overlay too, but we'll do what we can here. The Wild are not, they're in the top 10 in penalties taken. So it's not too bad. But what I've noticed here with the Rangers is, and I know Lee's been writing them up a lot over at FTN Daily, is their power play, right? Their power play, even without Adam Fox, it's going to regress, right? I mean, I don't think they're going to operate it. I mean, the Devils are operating at 41%. The Devils have been atrocious at 5-5, by the way. I think they're in trouble until like some of their better players come back. But the Rangers operating at 34%. It's just like the Canucks at 32%. The Sens are inside the top 10. That's why we see some of these high total goals and we see some offense here today. But anyways, that's why I think like DFS, maybe you just stack that entire line. Artemi Panarin's been shooting the puck, but now we can't take him anymore because he's minus 165. And I probably shy away from the 2-point night as well. If I'm picking a goal scorer here, it would be Mika Zibanejad or it would be Chris Kreider. Those are the two guys for me. And they probably connect in on a point. So over at Bet365, if you wanted to, I know I give a lot of 365s, but man, sign up over there because These point parlays are awesome. So Kreider and Mika Zibanejad plus 110 for those guys to pick up a point. Marco Rossi would be my long shot goal scorer here today. I know I gave him a little bit of love on Tuesday, and he didn't do a whole lot in that game, but he's still getting an opportunity inside the top 6 and on the top power play as well. So he's a guy that I would look to go to. I think the Rangers win the game. They're too hot to ignore, and you're getting pretty good odds for New York, despite them being at home. In fact, these odds have changed. They're not minus 137 anymore. They're minus 115. Is that Quick? Do we have any word on Shesterkin? Quick is out too. So do they have Shesterkin? Oh, maybe we need to backtrack here a little bit, because if they're down to their third string goalie. Anybody here? We got nothing yet. And you guys are I don't know now. I was thinking that this morning, but I didn't know that Quick was out. I know that he left and he was dealing with something, but now I don't know. Minnesota's D is not good at all. They, not that Dumba and Klingberg were great in their own end, but losing those two and not having Spurgeon the captain, I don't know now. I think I may lean Minnesota here. I think I may lean Minnesota as a potential upset here. This is why the odds have changed considerably. Do we know yet who is starting in net for the Rangers? May have to jump on the Wild here, guys. It's tough to go down to goalie number 3. Kincaid, Kincaid's in their system. Did he get called up? And Kincaid, haven't seen him in quite some time. Former Hab, Devil, Ranger, current. I know he played a little bit with the Rangers a couple years ago when the injuries happened with Shesterkin. Let's see. We got Reimer confirmed for the Red Wings. We have Fleury. Fleury's just a couple wins. Oh, Louis Domingue for the Rangers is going to be the starter here. Interesting going back to Fleury. Okay. He's just a couple wins away from passing Patrick Waugh for the second most wins of all time. I think he inches a little bit closer here today. I'm going to lean with the Wild. I know the defense isn't good. Maybe we attack the over here, 6.5. Maybe we see some offense here, because I know that Domingue is not good. And the way that the Minnesota defense is playing, it mixed in with the power play percentage here. So I'm kind of changing my tune just a little bit. Maybe that Kaprizov play isn't a bad one at plus 170 for 2 points. That may be a decent little long shot. I still like Marco Rossi. I still like Mika Zibanejad to score. Yeah, Reimer's been great. And Kreider, that point parlay with those two guys. All right, we'll move on from that one. It could be a pretty fun DFS game, to be honest with you. Get Gustafsson in there. And that Vinny T is a good call. It's the entire power play, right? That's what we've been doing over at FTN Daily. I know Lee, like I said, he's been writing these articles, and the entire power play. And now that Fox is gone, you get a little bit of salary relief with Eric Gustafsson. So you could really go Kreider. I would just put him Kreider, Mika, Panarin, Trocheck, and then Gustafsson, right? Like those 5. And if you've been doing that over the past couple weeks, I know I've seen some green screens in the Discord channel at FTN Daily. You've been having some success with that one. Pittsburgh and LA. Let's move over to, speaking of the Kings. So yeah, they are in action tonight after the big win. And our guy, Adrian Kempe, has turned the corner, and he's scoring goals again. 5 goals on the season, 3 in the last 4 games. He checks in riding a 7-game point streak, and he's got at least 2 points in 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games. In fact, he's got 5 multi-point games on the season. LA's playing really, really good hockey. I said it earlier, they went on the West Coast, or actually was East Coast trip, wrapped up in Vegas last night. And they won all 4 of those games on the road. But at home, it has been a little bit of a different story for them. They lost their first 2 games at home. In fact, they lost their first 3 games at home. They only have 1 win on home ice. They're a really good team. But I lean with the Penguins here today, just because that you guys know how I feel about these teams that go on the road trips, and then they played last night against their arch rivals in the Golden Knights, and then they have the Penguins just sitting there waiting for them. I could see LA winning this game for sure. I think that they're the better team than Pittsburgh. This is a team that we really, really like. By the way, what are their Stanley Cup odds now? Because we have them in the tracker, I think at 22-1, and I can't. 18-1 at FanDuel. I think you guys got to jump on this one. Bet365 is 12-1. Unibet's 15. I still think that's pretty good value at 18-1. The Kings are good. The Kings are really good. And Cam Talbot has played some good hockey for them this season. If he can stay healthy, that's the biggest question I have about the Kings is their goaltending. But deep down the middle, right? We've talked about this so many times, and Kopitar, Deneau, and Pierre-Luc Dubois, like those are probably arguably the top three centers in the league, I think. Like not overall, but like for a team. Like I don't know if there's a team that's deeper than that down the middle to have the luxury of PLD and Fiala on your third line. If you want to call it the second line, that's fine. But Deneau is still one of the best defensive centers in the league, and having Todd McClellan been able to throw him out there is just such a luxury. Anyways, I think that depends win the game at plus 110. Just the road trip played last night, maybe a little flat, and the fact that Talbot won't start and it will be Copley. And I think we'll see some goals. I like the over 6.5 is a little bit juiced there. George will take over 4.5 at minus 1,000. But I do think we'll see a few goals there in this hockey game. And I'm going to continue to ride Adrian Kempe. And even though we didn't get it the other night, I think the process was still right. Riley Smith to pick up a point. He's plus money here tonight. So Riley Smith at plus 105, still with Malkin and on that first power play. The goal scorers to me, again, would be Kempe. Quentin Byfield continues to impress. Like he probably needs to be picked up across, fantasy hockey leagues, season hockey leagues. Not seeing anything for a point. He's plus 550 for a power play point. Wow. But yeah, he's just fitting in really nice with Kopitar and with Kempe. These guys are all hitting the score sheet, and I will do another same game parlay. I have a few go-tos for when it comes to same game parlays, and Kempe and Kopitar are one of those guys. But Quentin Byfield just won 11 points in 12 games, points in 4 straight games, and he has 5, 6, 7 points over that span. And the fact that he's plus 550 for a power play point, and he has power play points in 3 of his last 4 games, it's not bad. It's kind of like pretty decent, actually. Like 0.25 for a power play point plus 550. This is all right. Over on the other side, Jake Gensel and Riley Smith, like those are my guys. Jake Gensel's a little bit juiced, minus 160 for over 2.5 shots. I put him into a parlay. I put him into a parlay with other guys that are juiced. But Jake Gensel, and I think Jake Gensel and Sidney Crosby, you can do both of those guys over at 365. Crosby isn't 1.5. They're both minus 200 for points. But again, just a little bit of an example. We'll move over. Geez, we're 40 minutes in. We kind of got to wrap up here. We'll move over to Pittsburgh and LA. Just look at the same game parlays. Again, if you don't have the bet tracker, this will be in here for me today. Crosby and Gensel plus 100 for a point. They correlate, right? One of the guys gets a point. The other guy's most likely going to get a point. And then Kempe and Kopitar plus 135 for those guys to pick up a point as well. And we mentioned Riley Smith is plus money. So I think we'll see some offense. That one could be a fun one. And I do believe that the Pittsburgh Penguins will squeak that one out. And it's tough for me to bet against the Los Angeles Kings because I really, really like their squad a lot. What else do we have here? Yeah, Moore's a good one. Over 2.5 shots. Always a good one for him. He hit last night. LA's size, power, and speed, phenomenal. Stanley Cup built team. Couldn't agree more. Right? They've just run into the Oilers in each of the last 2 seasons, right, in the first round. And they played good in those first 2 rounds, but unfortunately just got beat by McDavid and Draisaitl. I don't think they'd get beat this year. Who knows if they even make the playoffs. Okay, we're good on the boards. We'll continue to slide along here. I actually don't have a whole lot on my card. That's why we had some boards for those players. What else do we have? The Islanders and the Bruins. I mean, Boston at minus 141. You can get the Bruins on the money line at home at minus 141. That's pretty good. The Islanders, we said this a lot, so we don't need to dive into it too much, but they have allowed the most shot attempts at 5 and 5 per 60 this season. They've allowed the 3rd most shots. Their expected goals against is inside the top 5. The scoring chances allowed, only the Sharks have allowed more high scoring chances than the Islanders at 5 and 5, and the high danger chances are inside the top 5 as well. So Brock Nelson shooting the puck when Bo Horvat plays, he's shooting the puck. Noah Dobson's played some pretty good hockey for them as well this season. but the Bruins are just, they're doing it again. They're making me look silly. I still don't think they played a lot of good teams, but they're winning games and they're winning games at home. So I would go to some of these guys like, I mean, again, not breaking news, but the fact that the Islanders are giving up so much. David Pastrnak at 4.5 shots at -135. Decent odds for him to have 2 points at +115. Let's stay away from that because it's still Sorokin. I think they go back to Sorokin, Varlamov a little bit, and he kind of laid an egg the other day. But back to Sorokin, -120 for the assist is okay. You know, a guy that's been hitting the score sheet is James Van Riemsdyk. I don't think we need to really dive into an 11-game slate. There's some better spots out there, but +124 for a point for JVR isn't too shabby against the Islanders. But I think the Bruins in the under kind of feels like the Bruins in the under. That one is 5.5. It's tough to get behind. Is there any sixes? No, it's 5.5 across the board. Yeah, if you're feeling frisky, you can go Boston and the under, George under 8.5. But no, you can go Boston and the under, and that one is that's +209. It's not too bad. I think the Bruins win a tight one. What else do we have here? St. Louis and Arizona. How does Barrett Hayton not have a point? What's going on with that guy? How could the how can Schmaltz and Clayton Keller pick up points almost every night, and Barrett Hayton can't pick up a point? Man, it blows my mind. That guy's had probably the worst puck luck, I think, in the NHL this season. He just can't get it done. Clayton Keller over 2.5 shots. These shot props are just too juiced, right? They're just too juiced to get behind. So that's why I've been just trying to think outside the box and get some point props here. Assist for Clayton Keller. I think Clayton Keller scores, and maybe Nick Schmaltz is the guy that gets the assist. I think those guys will be in on a goal together. We get Nick Schmaltz at +120 for the assist. Lawson Krause didn't work out the other night. I had him in a parlay for over 1.5 shots. It's still very noticeable to me. Lawson Krause shooting a lot with Celly. I think these guys together at 5-5 and together on the power play with Nick Bjugstad, it kind of correlates. It's maybe a contrarian play, probably not needed in DFS on an 11-game slate here tonight. I'd just go with the big boys and Sean Durzi. And then, I mean, if you want to go Hayton, and he's clearly not going to be owned in DFS, but it'd just be like maybe a 3-man stack for me with Jersey, Schmaltz, and Clayton Keller. But Lawson Krause over 1.5 shots, -166. I think he does hit, but maybe you got to put that one into a parlay. He's +110 for the point. On the other side, it's Kyrou and Shen, and those are the only Blues I really ever like to play, and I don't really like to play a lot of St. Louis players anyways. But just going to look at the back here for the ice time for Braden Shen. I've just noticed, yeah, he went back down 14 the other night. But like we talked about him on Tuesday, we mentioned Shen and Kyrou, and I said maybe it was because of the Canadians. He played the Canadians. He scored his first goal over the weekend, but you get the monkey off the back. Not that I view this guy as a big-time goal scorer. I think he could live in the 20s, 25, but he is, playing with Kyrou, and that's what I like. So Braden Shen with the goals in back-to-back games. Kyrou's had the 3-point night against the Habs. Still getting a lot of ice time and ripping pucks still 3-9, 4-3, 3-3, 4 for Jordan Kyrou. So you're getting plus money for Jordan Kyrou. Rather take a stab on that than the -180 and -190 that we're seeing. So Kyrou at over 3.5 shots. I think Arizona wins the game. I think they go in there and win the game. I'll be interested to see if they go back to Ingram, because Connor Ingram's won 3 or 4 games in a row, and Vejmelka's lost 3 or 4 in a row. They've been going game for game. Are they going to continue to go game for game, or are they going to ride the hot hand, which seems to be Connor Ingram at the moment? I like Arizona. Nashville and Winnipeg. EY would say Philip Forsberg and Kyle Connor. Should we just leave it at that and move on? And he'd probably have Novak in there. One thing I will say is that I follow. Every time I bet I follow, I don't get it. But the process always seems right for me because he is playing with Scheifele and Connor, and those guys are playing pretty good hockey. This is part of why I like Gabriel Velarde. And when Gabriel Velarde gets activated off IR, I do believe he's going to take that spot back. But I follow coming off of 4.9. He's got 10 points in 12 games of the season. The ice time has jumped since he was placed on that top line. Started off with like 14 minutes, 13 minutes. Then the last few games, 19, 20, 21, 19, played 16, 33 against the Blues the other night. And he picked up 4 assists, as I mentioned, and 2 of them were on the power play. He is plus 175 for assists tonight, and he's minus 120 for a point. I got to at least put the point one on the board. I follow for a point, but I think the plus 175 for the assist, plus 230 for the apple. I'd stay away from the shots because he's only got 3 shots over the last few games because Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele taking all those shots away. I think the line picks up a couple goals here tonight, a couple points. And on the other side, I would lean with Forsberg and maybe Ryan O'Reilly, Apple. I'm going to loop over the comments here. What do we got? Love Connor over 3.5 shots tonight. One of my favorites of the night, Adam. Yeah, it's he's just playing really good. And when you get a couple power plays, he's getting the puck, all right, on the half boards, and he's just shooting so much. And you look at the back of the hockey card again, 7-3-6-5-3-5, and he's scoring like 8 goals in 12 games. Last year had a very, very slow start to the season, but this is a 45, 50 goal scorer. So I would, EY would tell you to play him, the score, plus 145, and I would tell you to play the shots. It's kind of how EY and I roll, shots and the goals, and Adam's all over it. Adam's super sharp as well. But this power play has been pretty good over the past couple games. No Hellebuck tonight. Oh, you're feeling the upset? Oh no, Winnipeg money line. You're riding Winnipeg money line. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think that the Preds are good. I think EY thinks that too. Like EY can't think that the Preds are good. They're not great. Saros does what he can to help them out, but they're not a good hockey team. I think Winnipeg has a little bit more to offer. They at least have the best player. Yossi's probably the best player. Yossi's definitely the best player. But they have the best sniper, and I like Philip Forsberg, but they have the best sniper in Kyle Connor. What's a Scheifele assist tonight? Because I think that line scores a couple goals. He's plus 170 as well. Over at 365, this should be a pretty good one. Should be able to get plus money on this one. And if no Hellebuck, I wouldn't mind the Forsberg and O'Reilly as plus 175 over at 365 of those guys to hit the score sheet. But Scheifele and Connor are plus 115. That's pretty good. And then when you add Iafallo, you get plus 230. So we all seem to like that top line tonight. And yeah, Arizona money line. Yeah, I like that one with you. That's the upset you were calling, right? Yeah. Okay. I think we'll wrap with Connor with the 3.5 shots, like Connor to score. I follow point, and I'm probably going to dive into the assists on even Scheifele's minus 145 for a point. That's not awful. That's pretty decent for a number one center. I don't mind that one. I like I follow more, but yeah, these guys correlate. If I follow gets a point, then I would say the other guys get a point as well. All right, we have one more game, and then we're going to get out of here. We already did Dallas and Columbus. We talked about that one a little bit. It's Colorado and the Kraken. Man, would I like to dive into the Kraken? Hammerhead Union, how you feeling about your Kraken these days? Matty Bernier is nowhere to be found. I hate seeing Kaylor Yamamoto up on that top line. Like, the guy's not good enough. And no disrespect, but he's not. Like, he couldn't score alongside Draisaitl and McDavid. He's slowing down Matty Bernier's. But the line that I like in DFS, I probably won't like him tonight because it is Colorado. But Ellie Tolvanen, Yanni Gord, and Bjorkstrand. It was McCann was on that line for a bit. That line is always cheap in DFS. When they're on the ice, they shoot pucks and they generate a lot, 5-5. But I can't back them tonight. They're not getting the goaltending. The puck luck has turned around. Last year they were super lucky, and I'm just not going to do it. And it was really nice to get the Avs at plus 145 the other night on the puck line against the Devils, and all their guys came through for us. And Steph, we didn't get the shots for McKinnon, but the 2-point night for Mikko Rantanen. I think that the Avs probably, and the Seattle has You sold Seattle for Vancouver. You went from one West Coast team to the other. You just traveled up 3 hours up the road, right? A few hours up the road. Both beautiful spots, right? Vancouver and Seattle, beautiful spots. You can golf all year round, right by the water, beautiful spots. Uh, I'm not there on the Canucks. I think that the start that they've had would be hard for them not to make the playoffs, but I just don't know. I really like their top six. I'm not sold on their defense. That's the Quinn Hughes is a better defensive player than a lot of people give him credit for, but yeah, so I'm kind of the same way. I think Mikko Rantanen, because you get Mikko Rantanen at plus 135 for 2 points. If there's a Canadian team, I'll hop on. And of course, the Habs wouldn't be there. I would probably do Vancouver. I've been to a couple Canucks games when I was a young buck. Dad took me to in '94. I went to a Vancouver Toronto game. Pavel Bure was a rookie, and that's all my old man talked about was Pavel Bure. Pavel Bure. We gotta go see Pavel Bure. You gotta go see him. And Pat Quinn benched him. It was his rookie season. He didn't play at all in the third period. I think he played 8 minutes in the entire game. The Leafs won 9-2. Wendell Clark had a hat trick in a fight. Doug Gilmour had like 5 points. It was in the old barn in Vancouver. It was in '94, so it was a long, long time ago. And then we end up getting to see Bure again later on in his Canucks days in Montreal. But man, what a player! If I'm going to jump on a Canadian team, I mean, it's not going to be the Leafs. I do have a soft spot for the Oilers. Just lived out that way. Flames are a mess. It could be the Canucks, but I just don't think they have the defense to get it done in the playoffs. But we'll see. Plus 135. What I was saying about Mikko Rantanen plus 135, but McKinnon every night is like minus 150, roughly for him to get 2 points. And I just feel like if he's plus 100 tonight, but for the most part, this is what I've seen all year. I've seen McKinnon basically minus 135, minus 140, and then I've seen plus money, plus 135, plus 175 one night for Mikko Rantanen. I think the Avs win the game. I know that Seattle gave them a tough go in the playoffs and they play them tight. But I do think that they win the game, and I kind of have a lean to them winning in 60 or in the puck line, and I'll probably jump on board with that. They did play the Kraken earlier in the year in Seattle, and they won that game 4-1, but they did shut out McKinnon. McKinnon just had the 3 shots. Now, they may not be able to get the line matchups that they want. I know that they want to play Yanni Gourde against Nathan McKinnon. They may not be able to do that here on the road, which may free up the line just a touch. But in 60, I got to check it out. I would imagine it's pretty decent odds here for the Avs. Minus 145 is okay. It's all right. I think that they win the game. It could be like a 3-1 game. Plus 110 for them to win by 2. All right, let's get some goal scorers here for you guys for EY, and then we'll wrap up with some sides and some picks. So let's narrow it down to 5. We got to start in Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl is going to score tonight. I think longer shots in that game would be Hyman, would be Evander Kane, but we'll go with just the one there, Leon Draisaitl. Let's go to Ottawa and Vancouver. We have a 7-goal total here. Let's go with Elias Pettersson. I also like Brock Besser. We'll go with Elias Pettersson for a goal tonight. And I think somebody on Ottawa is going to score 2. And man, my gut and my heart want to say Josh Norris, but Ascend's not going to be part of my top 5 here. I guess we need 8, right, for EY. We'll go Tim Stützle. Alex DeBrincat for the Detroit Red Wings. Let's go with Steven Stamkos for the Lightning. Hagel's a bit of a longer shot there. Let's go with Mika Zibanejad and Matt Boldy for the Wild. Rope Hintz. Sorry, Troy. For the Dallas Stars. Let's go with Clayton Keller and Jordan Kyrou. I'm obviously above 8. I'll narrow it down here. Kyle Connor for EY. He would tell you Forsberg for sure. I like Mikko. I like Mikko Rantanen tonight. Oh, Pittsburgh and LA. We should see some goals in that one. Man, I just can't get away from Adrian Kempe. Man, I just love that guy. His release is just so nasty. And then man, I think Jake Gensel, but I got this feeling about Riley Smith. So we got a lot there. Let's narrow it down to 8. Let's get these. George's going to clip this for us because we're gonna get 7 of these. Leon Draisaitl goal, Elias Pettersson goal, Alex DeBrincat goal, Steven Stamkos goal, Kyle Connor scores, Adrian Kempe scores, Jake Gensel scores. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more, and it's got to be Rupe Hintz for 8. There's the 8 goal scorers, the Maniac 8-leg parlay for you guys. For me, on the sides, I'm going to have a card of like 5 here tonight. So Boston at home, minus 141 Unibet. I like the Bruins in the under. I think that they win the game like 3-1. Heck, the Islanders may not even score a goal. Boston money line, I think, is okay here at minus 141. If you want to do in 60, you can get plus 115 there, which I think is pretty solid as well. I do like the Canucks on the road at minus 125. I like goals in that game. I like the Red Wings in 60 at minus 120. I like the Bolts on the puck line tonight at plus 105 to beat Chicago. I like the Stars in 60. You can get them at minus 120. I think we have in the tracker minus 125. Now it's moved to touch. I like the Avs on the puck line. And we are betting the Oilers on the puck line. We already bet them on the puck line. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win 6-2. So I'm going to have some fun little same game parlays we'll have in the tracker everywhere at ftnbets.com. Promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. You get picks from everybody across all sports, projections, tools. It's all there for you. Discord channel is all a lot of fun. We'll have some same game parlays in there for tonight. We'll have some same game parlays in the Pittsburgh, LA, and then the Vancouver one as well. So Oilers puck line. Oilers win by a couple here. And for upsets tonight, I like this isn't an upset. I also like the Jets on home ice at minus 125, but I think the upsets tonight would be Arizona at plus 100. And I like the Wild actually this evening at plus 105 with the Rangers down to their 3rd string goalie. And then I like the Penguins at plus 110. So a little bit of a card here that includes Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Arizona. I would rank them probably Arizona 1. Pitt's going to squeak one out tonight, 2, and then Minnesota 3. But again, I like these teams a lot more in 60 tonight. Would go Dallas minus 125, Detroit minus 120, and the Bruins at plus 115. Then the Stars, the Lightning puck line, the Avs puck line, and the Edmonton Oilers. But we're just gonna pick on San Jose all year long. What's this? Vegas flu Pens? I don't know. Okay. For shots, man, I got a lot on my board here. Okay, for shots, I'm just going to roll through. I'm going to start with what I think, Quinn Hughes at over 2.5, and I like the assist for Quinn Hughes. Even though we got Elias Pettersson for the goal, maybe a 2.9 for Elias Pettersson. I also think he picks up an assist. Kuzmenko for a point, and we'll move on from that one. I like David Pastrnak over 4.5 shots. I like Alex DeBrincat over 3.5 shots. I also, as we talked about, DeBrincat scoring a goal here. Tampa Bay, I just see shot props are a little bit too juiced. Can't get behind them, more so the points. Dallas, Rupe Hintz over 2.5 shots. Jordan Kyrou and Clayton Keller. Keller's over 2.5. Got to put him in a parlay. Kyrou over 3.5. Kyle Connor over 3.5 shots here. Tonight, I follow for the point, and Scheifele, a little sprinkle on the assist. I think all 3 of those guys get in on the fun. I'm going to stay away from some of the shot props in Colorado, but I do like Mikko Rantanen for a 2-point night here tonight, and I think the Avs win that game on the puck line. Jake Gensel, I like Jake Gensel. I like Riley Smith. You know who's actually been shooting a lot that I should have brought up with you guys? The Kings don't give up a lot of shots, but Rickard Rakell is, he's really pressing for a goal. Rickard Rakell's probably plus money. He's plus 100 for 3 shots tonight. And I want to say that he has 6 He went back-to-back games with 6, and he was certainly trying to score against the former squad with the Ducks. He's got 6, 6, and 4. It's hard to ignore that kind of action. There's 16 shots in 3 games, but he's not on my card. But if you're looking for a plus money play late at night, it's probably Raquel. But I do like Trevor Moore for 3, and I like Jake Gensel for 3. I think Riley Smith picks up a point in that game. So that's a lot. Oh, in the Edmonton one, I mean, what are you going to do? I got 2 units down on McDavid to have 4 shots tonight. I think Draisaitl has 4 shots tonight as well. In DraftKings, it's 2.5. You can put him into a parlay. I think that Evan Bouchard picks up an assist. He's minus 145, as Adam pointed out, I believe over at BetMGM for the point. But minus 150, I mean, I'll drink a little bit of that. I think the Oilers score 6 goals. And what else do we have? We had, Vander Kane. So McDavid, Kane, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. So yeah, anyways, it's a lot. We'll have some fun in the tracker, no doubt. All right, we got Mean Streets in 20 minutes. So I'm going to regroup here. I got an article over at FTNBets.com. I got a lot to to get to here. Oh, Pittsburgh in Vegas. Gotcha. Pittsburgh having some fun in Vegas. Is that that's what you're saying? Anyways, LA was in Vegas last night. Now I see what you're saying. LA was in Vegas last night after the W. Okay, gotcha. They had some fun last night in Vegas. I don't know. Probably. Vegas is a good time. George, get me out of here. I got to go. FTNBets.com, Mean Streets coming your way. Panthers and Bears here tonight. Barn burner in the NFL. Yeah, Hammerhead Union, your jokes, man. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out. Smash the like button. You're watching the replay. Leave a comment. Leave a question. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend. And sign up over at FTNBets.com. Use promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. You want part of the DFS family as well. You can use the same promo code. And good luck with all of your plays tonight. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Chris from Greenwood, and this is My Nova Scotia. Enjoy amazing live music around Halifax at the TV Halifax Jazz Festival, July 8th to the 16th. From July 17th to the 24th, it's the Halifax Pride Festival. And if you're like me, you can never get enough golf. It's the best way to see some of Nova Scotia's most beautiful scenery. Visit novascotia.com to plan your vacation. Our greens are awesome. So when are you coming?